So I wasn't planning on doing a podcast tonight, and I was going to do maybe, I said I wasn't going to do any more podcasts until after Christmas, but then I thought maybe I should do one tomorrow, and it was going to be about something quite unrelated to this, and there's howling winds outside. I hope you don't hear them. So over the last few weeks, I've had Rusek supporters coming to my channel and being very gracious and very nice to me. They don't always agree with my opinions, and they haven't always agreed with my opinions over the past few months. And I'm not pleading completely innocent. I've always been a rebel. I'm not a saint by any stretch of the imagination. But it's been nice to see some of the Rusek supporters, and I've been very outspoken about certain things. It's been really nice to see some of the Rusek supporters coming to my channel and wishing me well and telling me happy Christmas and being quite sympathetic. And lo and behold, one of those people, I've been talking to the fairy, the P fairy. I'm not going to say that word because, I'm making this as friendly as possible. I've been speaking with her on and off for a little bit. But Helen Chaffer came to my channel, and it was really, really, as soon as I saw Helen's message, and you know what? She wrote a comment underneath my recent community post where I'm wishing everybody happy Christmas, happy New Year. It was really nice to see a comment from Helen, most of all. And actually, for some reason, she was on my mind. Didn't think I was going to get a message or comment from her, but for some reason, she was on my mind because I've been thinking about her a lot. Helen has taken a lot of criticisms over the past year. And I've criticized Helen very, very critically. And I'm not going to deny that. But my focus on that criticism was mostly to do with the crowd justice and Claire Morgan. I'm getting my words tongue-tied here. See, I'm not perfect and I make mistakes and, So most of my criticism towards Helen has been about Claire Morgan and the crowd justice and whether or not I believe that Frankie and AD will ever meet in a courtroom, which now AD's gone. I don't care. But most of my focus on Helen in terms of critiquing her has been on that. And yes, I've been a bit snarky with Helen at times. And yes, we weren't ever going to be best friends and ride off into the sunset. But I can really say that I really appreciate this comment by Helen. She says, the first line said, "You've said before, we aren't really each other's kind of people. That is true. Still, I am sorry that you are the new target for some. Until you've been in that position, it's difficult to understand." And yes, Helen, to be honest with you, I've got a very strong personality and I can take it. But when I saw your message, when I saw you had commented, I got quite emotional because I just thought that was so sweet. And, it's Christmas and it's New Year and I'm looking like more forward. It's time for healing. I don't want to be involved in the drama anymore. I don't go into any of their chats. I don't get involved with them. Sheila, she can sit there with her 97 subscribers, and I'm being generous here. Maybe I'll give her a little bit more. And, she can just keep doing the same thing. But I'm looking at a more positive, horizon because I've had enough of that. And the fact that I've been heavily critical of Helen, and she's been critical of me as well, but she could still come and offer some kind words to me at such a time, knowing full well that, there's no love lost between me and Martin. I really, really commend her for that. And that's what I'm talking about. We don't have to agree with each other. And Helen sure doesn't agree with everything that I say. And the fairy sure doesn't agree with everything that I say. But for them to be able to, and Mr. Shannonite doesn't agree with everything that I say, but came to my channel yesterday and offered me, Merry Christmas and some kind words. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. And I'm not saying that we're all going to ride off into the sunset. I'm not going to revert back to being a Rusek supporter because of Claire Morgan and all that. However, I don't wish anyone on that side anything but peace, happiness, and resolutions. And that includes the Rusek family. I might not be their favorite person anymore because I was so outspoken, but never, ever would I go at people like that in such a personal way. Yes, I've been heavily critical, but Bam and her squad, they took it to another level and they're still doing it. And that's the effect of what you call a very ill environment where somebody has such influence. And this is the reason why Bam kept these people in her channel, and why she, even though she didn't like them, she kept them around, or wanted to keep them around, because she was getting their supply. She was getting supply from them. And I was talking to the fairy and I was saying, why do you think Bam hasn't come back? Why hasn't she reappeared? Because Sheila started a new channel and she's back on the same, she's circling the same drain. But Bam hasn't done that, or at least not so far. And the fairy said, because she doesn't have the support, it's a bit embarrassing for her to come back. And I added to that and said, because Bam has lost her supply sources, and all of these people that are doing what they're doing now, they gave Bam so much supply, and I think that's the reason why she hasn't come back, because I think she feels like she's lost that supply. But it was so nice to hear from Helen. And Helen, with all my critiquing of you that I've done, never did I believe some of the stuff that Bam was saying about you. Not once. And I'm not even going to justify what she said about you in words. Look, I've been heavily critical of you. I make no excuse for that. I was involved in some of Bam's drama. I make no excuse for that. I'm not trying to be sanctimonious like it's been claimed. But I really appreciate your comment. I really appreciate you, Helen, for coming and offering me your kind words. Merry Christmas to you. I hope you have a nice Christmas. Thank you, Fairy, and thank you, Mr. Shannon Knight. It's really nice to see that level of support from the Rusek supporters. I'm not a Rusek supporter, and I'm sure the Rusek supporters don't always agree with what I have to say, and certainly haven't agreed with what I have to say in the past. But, there's some people in the Rusek corner that I'm never going to be friends with ever again. However, I cannot tell you how much it meant to me, Helen, to see you come to my channel to offer support. That was really nice. I really appreciate it. Also, Helen, all the things that Bam said about you, and I'm not going to repeat what she said, you're just a full-figured woman who has a healthy appetite. Nothing less and nothing more. So I'm not even going to justify the things that she said about you in that regard. When I was young, when I was growing up, I was so thin, and I didn't start getting curves until I was about 17, maybe 18. I prayed for curves because I was just very thin, really thin. I mean, people would say, "My God, you're so thin," and I was just thin my whole teenage years, my whole childhood. I was really, really thin, and I'll show you some pictures of that one day. And then I started getting curves, and I actually prefer to have curves than to be very, very thin. That's just my personal preference. Anyway, my mum stopped around and she gave me some gifts, and I got what I wanted, including a blowtorch. So I'm going to start making my beautiful creme brulees. I also got some more gifts from other people, some more personal gifts. And I'm going to start. I'm so glad, because I've been wanting a blowtorch for a very, very long time. And whoever said that I bragged about things that I've got, I've never done that. And I've certainly never bragged about going to a private school. I didn't enjoy school. I went to a private all-girls school, but I never enjoyed school. I always dreaded. I always loved it when we would get our school breaks. And I always dreaded going back to school. I have said repeatedly that I wasn't an academic person, and I'm not trying to pretend that I'm more intelligent than anyone else. Yes, I outsmarted one person on YouTube and probably another person as well. But no, I never bragged about going to private school. I wasn't an academic person. And to be quite, I did not really enjoy my school years. So never bragged about anything that I have, never bragged about anything I got. I had a middle-class suburban upbringing. But never, I don't go around saying I'm rich or anything like that, because I'm certainly not. But, I made the best of what I have, and I've had a middle class life for most of my life. But who knows? I could fall on hard times at any time, as any of us could. And as I say this, I've told you I've been deeply affected about the Israel-Gaza situation this year, deeply. And a few days ago, I heard about something that happened in a church in Israel. You know, you have people in Israel. It is coming up to Christmas. We're on the heels of Christmas. And you've got people that are displaced, that have no homes, that are not going to have a nice Christmas meal. That breaks my heart. And also, I just want to clarify one thing, and I'm going to clarify some other things in the coming year, but I have sympathy for both the Israelis and also the Palestinians. And I know people, sometimes they don't like that, but I've got sympathy. And I particularly have sympathy for the children that have been caught up in all of this. And also, not one word was mentioned about Bam's family on my channel, about any member of Bam's family. Not one word was mentioned. I used the Forrest Gump tag to refer to the situation between Amber and Bam in regards to the way that she spoke to Amber's daughter. And that was what the Forrest Gump thing was about. Nothing has been mentioned about Bam's family on my channel. And to be honest with you, I don't believe for one moment that anyone cares, and that anyone cares to mention anything good or bad about her family. I don't believe that Amber said anything untoward about any member of Bam's family. And I believe that she probably made that up, as she did many other things. So the Forrest Gump is a movie. And as far as I'm concerned, the characteristics that Forrest Gump has as a character, I wish more people had those kind of characteristics. So it's not even, to me, it's a compliment that somebody would say somebody's like Forrest Gump, because Forrest Gump is a beautiful person. The other thing is, if Bam comes back, why does anyone think, first of all, if Bam blocked me from her channel, good for her. That just shows you that I didn't go along with anything that she did. I wasn't useful to her because I didn't go along with everything that she wanted, like you all did. So if she blocked me from her channel, that makes no difference. I still left her channel. And good luck to her with that, because obviously now she doesn't have that channel, does she? So, you know, if she wanted to block me, that's her business. But after February, I never entered her channel again. I didn't. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm glad she discarded me. And as far as I'm concerned, most of her supply sources have dried up. And I've got voicemails from her. She's got voicemails from me as well, but I never told her anything that I wouldn't tell you. I would just tell you in a different way. So I never told her anything personal. I also, when I emailed her, I used the email that didn't have my full name. So I was always careful how I communicated with Bam. I think I said the only unkind thing I ever said about someone was about somebody that she also didn't particularly like, and that it has nothing to do with anybody in this community. It's to do with somebody else, and we were both criticizing that person, but it had nothing to do with any of my subs or anybody that I, put it this way, I've criticized this person on my channel, so it was no secret. But I know Bam didn't like people, and I used to try and dissuade her from speaking any ill about anybody. And I wish I hadn't done that, but she still told me enough about certain people that, I've got all the proof and evidence that she just didn't like people. She was somebody that didn't like anyone. She was all about herself, ultimately. And I have no care whether she comes back or not. I hope she doesn't, but I mean, Bam is a middle-aged woman. She's a middle-aged, unemployed woman who sat online talking about how great she is and expecting PayPal donations. Was she kind to me at times? She was very kind to me at times. She was available to me. I enjoyed our conversations. But like I said, once she started to escalate, I was out of there. What else do I want to say? I wish everyone peace, love this Christmas. And I don't want to be too, I don't want to fantasy talk because, I have to be realistic. We're not always going to all get along with each other. We're going to have disagreements. We're going to have different opinions. But I really appreciate the respect that I've been shown by Helen Chaffer, Mr. Shannonite coming to visit me and the fairy coming to visit me, who I've been talking to on and off for the past few months. I really appreciate some of the Rusek supporters, giving me kind words of support. And like I said, Helen, some of the things that were said about you by Bam, don't worry, I didn't believe. I didn't, and even I'm not even a fan of Val either, and I didn't believe some of the things that she said about Val and Val's holidays. Don't worry about it. Yes, we all know that she took things to another level. But like I once again, I want to wish everyone a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, and I'm going to have a great Christmas. But I'm not spending it with my mum this time. But I'm probably going to see her on Boxing Day, because there's something in her apartment that she's got to fix before I go, because I want to have internet access and all that kind of stuff. But it's going to be a good Christmas, and I wish you all very well. I wish you all happiness, and I wish you a very, very safe time during this holiday.